Thank you for joining us again this morning. Now let's talk about something that pertains to the youth, an age-old problem that we've always had in this country, because the recent happenings in the mad rush for people who want to get recruited into our security agencies, as well as the massing up of teaming youth at the Accra International Conference Center for youngins in this country to look for a job. The YEA employment fair just a few weeks ago have sparked conversations all across this country, especially when it comes to the levels of unemployment in our dear country, Ghana. It's been an age-old problem that we've been battling with. But here comes the question. If we lived in a perfect country where there are millions of jobs available, you as a university graduate, would you even qualify for it? Now, if you're applying for a job, what are the things that you put down on paper? In writing your resume, exactly what do you write down there to sell yourself to the employer who is looking for your kind? Now, when it comes to education in this country, is it too much of a theory than practicals? Is that where the dip is in this country? Is that why so many employers get disappointed at the end of the day when they employ you and then they end up saying, listen, you are not even qualified for the job? We are getting into that conversation this morning. So with me is Jeremiah Boabeng. He is the CEO of Boabeng Communications, as well as the lead consultant, Corporate Toolbox Ghana. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Which one should I say? Should I say Mr. Boabeng, or I should say...
Everybody calls me JB, so I'm fine with that.
JB. Everybody calls you JB. Okay, so I'm going to be calling you JB this morning. And then there's a university graduate, fresh out of school, Eric Sewu, who's also joined us here in the studio this morning. He came very early, and then he was on his phone and his notebook, and he was chewing baba. Of course, if you went to school in Ghana, then you should understand when I say he was chewing baba. But gentlemen, you're very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't want to start off with you, JB. I want to get into the mind of the youngin who is here in the studio this morning. Eric, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
So the YA job fair, which was held at the conference center a few weeks ago, were you there?
No, unfortunately.
You didn't go? Well, how come? You're not looking for a job?
No, I'm looking for a job.
Okay.
Yes.
But why didn't you take advantage of it?
I was stuck in school. I took leadership on campus, so I was also taking care of other things. That prevented me from going.
Okay. All right. So which school did you attend?
UPSC.
UPSC.
Yes.
And when did you graduate?
This year.
This year. So just a few months,
yes.
Ago.
In fact, just this Saturday.
Just what?
This Thursday.
Are you kidding me? So in your estimation, in a very perfect world, a perfect Ghana, how long do you want it to take you to gain employment right after school?
Well, with the current data I get to see, or the ones I know, most of our kind don't really get job immediately after school. When
you say most of your kind, what's your kind?
I've seen recently graduating students don't really get job immediately they get out of school. So I personally am estimating a year or two to
in a year.
Into, yes.
That's your estimation.
Yes.
Is it because there's a backlog of people who have not been employed? That's why you're thinking it would take you a year or two?
Yes.
So why are you thinking it wouldn't take you longer, but a year or two?
Well, I feel I have done a bit of working on myself.
Okay.
Gaining a bit of experience.
Right.
And also kind of getting employable skills that could earn me somewhere. So most definitely, I think I could even secure a job before then.
So you did all of that whilst you were at UPSC.
Yes.
Exactly what did you do? Let me see some of the skills you acquired whilst in school.
Well, I realized that it would take more than just the theory to get a job. So whilst in school, I took, say, part-time jobs.
Right.
And I took internship opportunities. And I also worked on leadership. So it means that I could get experiences from all these angles to better myself out when I get out there. Because not all students will go in for such things that I did on campus.
That would upgrade your skills and all that.
Exactly.
Right. So that's what you set out intentionally to be able to equip yourself for the job market. And even with all of that, you still think it would take a year or two to even get a job. Anyway, JB, so let me come to you. The unemployment ecosystem What is it looking like at the moment? We all saw what happened when youngins in this country wanted to be recruited into the police service, into the military service and all that. And even this morning, a communique has come from the Ghana Immigration Service that no, they are not getting into physical examination and all that for any recruitment at all. Well, in this country, when the YEA job fair also took place, they were ready to actually employ over 3,000 youngins in this country. And we all saw what ensued because of the mad rush, because of the desperation and the hunger for jobs in this country. With where you're sitting, with the eye you're looking at things from, what's the picture looking like?
Well, so it's a major issue. Globally, our unemployment rate is worse than many other countries.
Yeah.
In 2018, the World Bank says that every year Ghana graduates about 103,000 people into the world of work. Some actually report a higher figure, 350,000 people. ISA conducted a research and realized that only 10% of those who graduate from school get jobs in their first year. That means that if there are 100 people who graduate from school, only 10 of them get jobs. The majority of them will get jobs within 10 years after graduating from school.
So that's why he's estimated that it will take him a year or two.
So he's right. But then his choices in school is one of the things that people can do to set themselves apart.
Okay.
If indeed the things he's saying he's done are the things that he has done, then he's likely to get a job. Because one of the challenges with our educational system is that there's so much emphasis on memorization. The human brain has so many other parts: imagination, analysis, creativity, being able to put things together. But our school system has focused so much on memorization. So very often, when you meet somebody who did well in school, it's very likely that what they are good at is that they know how to memorize things and pour it back to the teacher. But there's very little emphasis on practical skills. So you do something like marketing planning. Instead of actually doing a marketing plan for an organization as part of your project, you go and write exams and ask you, what is a marketing plan? Describe 5 features of a marketing plan. When we work like that in school, when we come into the real world, we find out that actually what we did in school and what's happening in the real world are very different. The problem is not with the content of our education, it's with this delivery. Because the content is there. You're supposed to do strategic plan if you do corporate strategy.
Right.
So why don't we sit down and be given a project and say, you have a company, develop a strategic plan for it. But if you're going to write exams, you're going to be asking, what is mission? What is vision? What are some of the strategic actions that a company can take? Then really, you have a theoretical understanding of the concepts taught in school, but you don't really know how to use them to get results in real life. And employers hire people to get results. No employer hires people and say, Kukiti, define news presenting. How does a news stage 5 characteristics of a news presenter? No, you have to actually be able to do it. So we need to work on our educational system.
So but for you, it's not the content.
It's the delivery.
It's the delivery.
There's too much emphasis on examination. So for instance, if a person has written 3 books and they are in school, do they get extra score for going out of their way to do something beyond academic work? If somebody is studying entrepreneurship and they've put together an enterprise, do they score? Because somebody can have a business, be making money, be making about 5,000 cedis per month, and somebody else will chew and pour all the characteristics of entrepreneurship, the different definitions of entrepreneurship, and score an A. So we should start looking at things differently. But that is for the long term. I think that every young person in this country should take their destiny into their own hands. So if you go to school, don't just become somebody who's just going to hostel, lecture hall, hostel, lecture hall. I actually think, it's my considered opinion, that it is better to have a job whilst you're in uni than to go to uni full time. Because when you have a job when you're in uni, you actually acquire professional skills whilst you're going to school. And it helps you, it creates a context for you to apply the knowledge that you're acquiring from school to the world of work.
But then if that's the case, how would you balance the timing?
It's possible. People are doing it. Nowadays, there's morning school, afternoon school, evening school, weekend school, sandwich, hamburger school.
Distance learning.
Distance learning. There are so many ways. So it will serve every young person to try and acquire a multiplicity of skills whilst you're in school. So when you go to school, don't say, oh, as for me, I don't like trouble. I'm not postcard. Let them go and do SRC. Let them go and do this. So all you do is just sit in class. Theory. You can get all A's in school and yet finish school and be totally unprepared for the world of work. Because, for instance, if an employer is hiring somebody, they are looking for somebody who knows how to achieve results. Just being able to sit down and write answers is not enough. You may have to learn how to speak in public. How do you learn how to speak in public in school? By joining the SRC, joining student parliament, joining the debaters club. You may have to learn how to write proposals. How do you learn how to write proposals? If you're the secretary for the SRC or the PRO, you write proposals to companies to sponsor your programs. That is practice. If you're organizer for your church group on campus, you learn how to organize people. So an employer will believe that if I bring this person to my company, they can organize programs, they can do marketing campaigns. If you are secretary for your group, you learn how to write letters, learn how to write email cookie to shock you. In my opinion, the majority of graduates do not know how to write emails.
Wow.
Put out a job ad right now and ask people to send you an email. People will just attach their CV, their cover letter, and send it to you.
They are not able to construct.
No subject, nothing. That's not even the worst of the situation. The worst of the situation is that some people write the message in an email in the subject line. I'm not exaggerating.
We see in this country.
Yes, we see this all the time. The last
Here in this country.
Yes, the last job that we advertised, we had about 250 people applying for the job.
Okay.
When you received it, and I even try to I become a little more adjustable when I'm receiving out CVs, because my opinion is that most people don't know how to write CVs. Okay. People think that a CV is just a collection of information about you. No, it's a strategic tool. So I lower my standards a bit and I select, but we couldn't even select half of those who apply for the job.
Are you kidding?
I'm serious.
Your board is here this morning. I think we just need to get into the practicality of it. Now, there are issues of people even writing common emails. They are not able to do it. They are not able to put down their own CVs to sell themselves on paper, like I mentioned in the beginning. So what does a good CV entail? Right,
before I even go into that, what I'll say is this. Knowing how to write a CV, knowing how to attend a job interview, is a survival skill. Okay. It's as important as learning how to do makeup for a woman, or learning how to dress. So knowing how to do a CV is not something that you relegate. I started learning how to write CVs way back. Even before I left.
Many people actually copy and paste.
Yes.
They go onto the internet, take a sample of a CV, and then they just start to change names and dates and all that. Content and everything is still the same.
So what will happen if you do that is that either you don't get invited for an interview, or when you go to the interview, you cannot justify what's on your CV, so you don't get a job.
Because you didn't write it yourself.
Exactly. So there are critical skills that everybody can learn to learn how to market themselves well. If you do the job of preparing yourself to market yourself for a job well, it will be easy for you to write a CV. It will be easy for you to attend an interview. And I think that writing a CV begins even way before you have to write one. Right. Because if all you did in school was to attend classes, write exams, and pass, please, even if you got a first class and you were the top graduating student, please, that will be written in one line. If you were the top graduating student in your class, please, you write that in one line. Right. Top graduating student, 3.98 GPA. Yeah, please, a CV is about a full page. After writing 3.98 GPA, what else are you going to write?
What do you say to people now attaching photographs to their CVs?
I personally, I think that a CV is largely a conventional thing. Okay. I don't have a problem with people attach their photograph. But if you attach your photograph, please, you have to be comely. You have to be attractive. If you're not very attractive, adding your photograph to a CV doesn't give you an advantage.
Situation.
So let's go to our flip chart and do a bit of work. Right. And I'm hoping that those at home watching us will write something down. So my experience has taught me that there are 4 critical things that should be on a CV. Every other thing is just an addition. When companies put out a job ad, they're not just looking for people to fill their office space. They have a clear idea what they are looking for. Okay. And very often, they express that in what is called a job description. Okay. Now, a job description lists all the various things that you would do if you are hired. So the hiring process is not probability. They are clear in their mind that we are looking for somebody who will do A, B, C, D. Then they also go the extra mile. Some go the extra mile to to describe the qualities that they want you to have in what they call a job specification. So maybe they want you to have maybe a background in English, they want you to have good writing skills.
Let's make it easier. Eric, what type of job are you looking for?
Well, any corporate work.
Any corporate work.
Anything.
Is that even correct? Okay.
Since I'm coming from a background of accounting, anything that has to do with QuickBooks, anything that has to do with salary.
Okay. Good. So let's assume that Eric is applying for a job as an accounts officer for Boabin Communications. Yes. If you're applying for a job as an accounts officer for Boabin Communications, the job description is going to be maybe somebody who is able to do financial reports.
Okay.
Somebody who's able to do bank reconciliation.
Okay.
Somebody who's able to maybe take financial records.
Okay.
Somebody who's able to manage petty cash.
Right.
Then, I mean, maybe usually in smaller businesses, you don't get to specialize. You get to do so many other things.
Yeah.
So maybe there may be other roles or jobs that you would do as well.
So all that falls under his job description.
Your job description.
Okay.
Now, when you're writing a CV or you're attending an interview, the information you provide must be provided so that it will align with the job description. That's why somebody can write a very good CV in their opinion, or go to a job interview and perform well in their opinion and not get the job. Because
it's not
you may have said a lot of nice things, may have written what you think is very persuasive, but is it in line with a job description? So in this case, two things. If you're applying for a job, you have to find out what the job description is. Call the company, find out from them. Sometimes they may not put out the job description. So as a proactive professional, go online. If you're applying for, say, administrator, operations assistant, operations manager, sales executive, marketing officer, when you go online, there are numerous of web pages that have those job descriptions there. You see the job description for a marketing assistant, of an operations assistant, communications officer, general manager, operations manager. Just study. So you're like, oh, okay. So operations manager, this is what they do. They do that. They do this. They do this. Now, when you study the job description well, then now you start putting together your CV to align with the job description. So, a CV must have, a CV for a job must have a few critical things.
Right.
One, what are you described as career highlights? I'll come back to explain that.
Okay.
It is my considered opinion that these are the four most important parts of a CV.
Okay.
Career highlights. Career highlights is referring to the most landmark achievements in your career.
Right.
What are the most unique things you've done over the course of your career? So maybe you were a sales manager for a company. In the year that you took over, the revenue was about 20,000. After 1 year, you increase it to 50,000. It's an achievement.
Right.
So I started with a business volume of 20,000, and I increased it to 50,000.
Sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
But for a fresher like Eric.
I was going to come to that.
Okay.
So for a fresher like Eric, with the things that he has done in school, all of those things is work experience. So he said that he did some stuff on campus. So maybe, let's just assume that Eric was chief editor of the tutorial team on campus. And during his tenure, they printed magazines and sold 10,000 copies. It's a career highlight. Let's assume that maybe Eric was part of Enactus and they won the Enactus project for Ghana or for Africa. It's a career highlight.
That's a highlight.
That is why doing well academically, it's not enough.
Right.
It's not enough because you're not going to come to work.
You must join clubs.
You must do things. You must develop yourself. My opinion is that everybody should start doing internships right from secondary school. So our last one, my kid brother, he works in my company. He's been home for 3 months. He's been working. I paid him a salary last month.
Right.
Everybody must start working. If you have a son out there, if a young brother or sister out there, let them start interning. Because when you grow up to the real world, you know that it's not just about getting good grades. Maybe first or maths. I was first in English. It's not enough. So we should start letting our young people get professional exposure right from the start. Even in my opinion, if we can start from GSS, why not?
Should start.
Because after all the schools that they are going to, where are they going to end up?
Exactly.
In the world of work? So let's not run a system where school is so far away from industry. And that's what we are running.
Yeah.
So what school is doing really is not paying attention to what the industry is doing. So employers are complaining about the quality of graduates. Most people are saying it's not our job. So whose job is it?
Yeah.
So career highlights are your key achievements. Then your professional skills. Now this cookie is a big deal. Most graduates have no idea what skills they have.
Nothing at all.
I can conjecture that for every 100 graduates, less than 20 know about their skills or have any skills.
But whose fault is it? The school, the educational system, or the human beings, the individuals themselves?
I think that it's a number of factors. But you see, there's nothing to be gained from blaming anybody.
Okay.
I speak to every young person out there that take your destiny into your own hands. Because see, for everything you can list as professional skill, there is something happening on your campus that you can do and learn how to acquire. By the time I finished school, I knew how to organize events. I knew how to write proposals. I knew how to speak in public. I knew how to lead a team because of the things I did whilst I was in school. So don't just stay in school and be a good student and get all the good grades. It's good. It's important. So long as you're spending time and money to go to school, excel academically. But it's not enough. So do all the various things. Do an internship, volunteer for opportunities, part of a project. They're organizing a summit on your campus. Go and volunteer. Learn how to sell tickets. It can be something that you can list as a professional skill later. The mistake most people make here is that they write a lot of cliches. Able to work under pressure, able to multitask, punctual at work. I feel that it's a travesty.
All that shouldn't come under professional skills.
You see, those things are soft skills. My opinion is because they have been over-abused, drop them. Professional skills should focus largely on the hard skills for the job. So, for example, if you're applying to become a marketing officer, what must a marketing officer know how to do?
Player.
Exactly. So, because everybody writes team player, and nobody, and most people don't even know what it means to be a team player. So, I know how to develop marketing plans. I know how to develop a communication strategy. I know how to manage client service. Those are the critical things. Now, the things you list under professional skills, it's good I'm saying this, the things you list under professional skills must connect with the job description. So, for instance, if you apply for a job in accounting and you have skills in marketing, it may not be necessary to list that. If you want to list that, then after you have listed your accounting skills, then you can list the extra skills you have to show them that, oh, if I come to your company, I'm versatile. So even if I'm not doing accounting, you can push me into marketing. I can do something there. But if you never find out the job description for the role you're applying for, it's almost certain that you'll get your professional skills wrong. You write a lot of nice things that look good, but really they're not looking for what you're bringing to them. And then work experience. I believe that if you do a good job in this first two, this is
You
easy.
should have some work experience. Because that's the major dip for a lot of people. They feel that because they haven't worked in any firm before, job experience, it's not there. So you have failed right there. But like you're saying, if you've done all these things on campus,
this should be easy. And then your education. Unfortunately, for a lot of young people, that's what we are focused on. Degree. Cookie, my belief is that degree is overrated. Because when you come to work, your degree does not get out of your bag and start working. It's your skills that works. So
you can take a seat. So
we should go beyond just having degrees to developing skills. A degree is nothing if it's not backed by skills.
Even if it's a PhD.
It means nothing.
Well, I hope that you at home have taken a lot of cues, not just a lot of cues from what JB has taught us this morning. Now, one of the questions I want to ask, now you've taken us through what a good CV should have, but quite quickly, now that I've gotten my CV right, written everything in connection with the job description and all that, when I'm attending the interview, what must I have in my head?
Okay. Almost all job interviews are predictable.
What do you mean?
Almost all job interviews are predictable.
When the person is coming, you know whether they will get the job or not?
No.
Predictable by the employee?
The questions that they will ask you are predictable. A question like, tell me about yourself. It's a predictable question. 9 out of 10 times you'll be asked. Unfortunately, most people seem unprepared for it. My name is Eric. I come from a family of 6. I support Asanze Kotoko. It does not, the team you support does not matter to the employer. So when you're asked to tell me about yourself, that is when for you to give a summary of your background. What career have you had? What skills do you have? What are your major achievements?
So it has nothing to do with family.
It's not your biography.
The church you attended.
It's not your biography.
Oh, your best friend's name and all that.
So most interviews are predictable, and all of these things, there are hundreds and hundreds of articles about them
materials
online. My position is, until you have a job, your job is to find a job. So sit down and research, read about things, go online, how to attend an interview. Look, questions that they will certainly ask you. Tell me about yourself. What are your strengths? Why should we hire you? They will ask you scenario questions. Have you ever had a disagreement with your boss? What happened? Have you had an encounter with a customer? What happened? These are predictable questions. If you study them over and over again, even when you go and they don't ask you those questions, your preparation for the questions will help you do a good job.
Yeah.
And then again, the attitude and the energy with which you answer questions in an interview matters so much.
Important.
I've interviewed people and they are so dull, no enthusiasm,
no energy.
And I'm asking myself, do you really want this job? I mean, one day I gave an opportunity. I was hiring for a client of mine, and I gave an opportunity to a young lady who had been badgering me to get a job for her to attend the interview. And she came and she sat there without energy, without passion. And I say, I will not hire you because the energy you put in. I interviewed a young lady and she says, look, I really want to work. Give me the work and I'll do it. I give her the job.
Because of the energy
she was enthusiastic.
Yeah.
I interviewed a young man. This is, look, I don't know it. But what I know myself is I'm willing to learn. Teach me and I'll do it. I gave it to him. But if you go and sit on an interview and you don't have any passion, you don't have any drive, you don't have any energy, nobody wants you in their firm. You won't add anything to them.
Eric, what's your take home from this conversation that we've had? Did you have any notion that has been changed this morning?
Yes. I think I actually agree with him with regards to the fact that most of us don't really take on voluntary services and probably add more experiences to ourselves.
Please speak up a little bit so we can hear you.
More of, I for one believe that something like the internship should be a national policy, something that everyone should be engaged in, so that before you get to a particular level, you probably have done something for yourself.
You've acquired some skills.
It's a great thing that he's saying. And I think that government should start rewarding companies for taking on interns. Yeah. Because if you understand our situation very well, you know that students need internship. They don't want internship. They need it. So we must encourage companies to take on interns. If it means giving them task cards or something. And if you're out there and you're a manager or you're an employer, please take on interns. We complain a lot about problems. Let's all contribute to solving the problems.
I see. Now, there's a big question out there. Some people say, no, I don't want to go for an internship with this company because they will not pay me. And I take a car to come to work every day. JB, do you think that interns must be paid?
Best case scenario, it would help if interns get paid an allowance to come to work.
Right, at least.
But then, as soon as you add, companies are already creating opportunity for you to come and learn. Some of them that even can't afford it, because you don't think that even if an intern is not paid, the company still expense cost on them. You'll be given a desk, you'll be given a computer, you use electricity, you use internet.
Overhead.
You use water, yes. So you incur a cost. So if we're going to make it obligatory that companies should pay their interns, then I think they don't want to do it in the first place. So if you say they should pay them, then it becomes a problem. If the company can, we encourage them to give the allowance. But you, the student or graduate out there, you need the experience more than anything else. So if you're not prepared to wake up early and walk or take Trotsky and go to a company and say, look, I need experience. Give me something to do. Give me an opportunity. Then you're not serious about it. And one of the things that ISE identifies as the cause of unemployment is the poor attitudes of graduates towards such opportunities. Because you have finished, and you know, people have finished school, they need the opportunity to learn, to develop their skills. But they're coming and ask them, how much do you want for salary? You mentioned 3,000, 4,000.
They have a sense of entitlement. Yes. They feel they must be paid huge sums of money.
I'm from the University of Ghana. You have to pay me this amount of money. But really, what value are you bringing to my company?
Right.
What difference are you coming to make? So I want to encourage every young person out there that approach jobs when you leave school with a spirit of apprenticeship. Looking for an opportunity to learn, looking for an opportunity to be taught. The time to look for money will come. But let's not feel that when we finish school and have a degree or diploma, we're ready to make big money. And that's because you see, as long as you go with that expectation, then the employer will raise their standard for hiring you, and you almost won't meet it. But if you go with the eagerness to learn, then somebody will open a door for you and say, Charlie, this girl wants to learn, so let's help her.
Fabulous. Eric Sewu just graduated from the UPSA. He's looking for a job. Hopefully, he's been equipped this morning to be able to get a very, very good one. Jeremiah Boabeng, JB, as everybody calls him, he's the lead consultant at Corporate Toolbox. Listen, we appreciate you coming this morning. It's a lot that you have taught us this morning, and I'm just hoping that you out there have been able to pick up a whole lot to be able to get that job that you're looking for. And when you go for that interview and they say, tell us about you, now you know exactly what to say. Thank you so much. This is still TV3Newday. Thank you so much, JB and Eric. This is still TV3Newday. Now, yesterday, Mentor X was launched in a very graceful manner. I watched the intro of all the 16 contestants, and it was everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. 4 of them will be here to speak to Johnny. We'll also take snippets at what the launch looked like last night right here on TV3Newday. All coming up when we return.